As passionate as we are about our guns, we all realize that gun laws are about to have some changes. I'll be doing a series of videos to discuss that. This video I think you're going to find extremely informative. Susan, welcome to the channel.
Hi.
You're an elementary school teacher, correct?
Yes.
How many years have you been teaching?
10 years.
And how long have you been best friends with my wife?
For about 20 years.
20 years. What I decided to do is, because Susan comes to our house now weekly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you tutor one of my girls 1 hour and the other daughter an hour. And by the way, if you really want to help some teachers who we do agree, unfortunately, are underpaid. I don't know why. You're so important to our children. If you want to help the teachers, what should they do if they have children?
If you need tutoring help, I would really, for the financial, to help out your teacher. And also because no one knows your child better than us, because we do spend so much time. We know where they're at developmentally, what they're struggling with. So we can definitely help them more than a tutoring center, which typically is cold and impersonal and really doesn't really care if your child really grows. They just kind of want your paycheck.
So I figured while you're here doing the weekly tutoring, let's do a video. We're going to talk about the Connecticut shooting, and we're going to talk about what Susan's schools, what some of the changes have been made since the shooting, the tragedy, and some other things. So welcome to weaponseducation.com. I think you'll find this video very informative from a teacher's perspective. Thank you. Okay, Susan, so 10 years being an elementary school teacher, what changes has your elementary school here in Palm Beach County, Florida, what changes have they made since the shooting?
Well, Tom, so already what we've done is that all schools are basically in a lockdown status, which is a code red, where, if there was an intruder on campus, everything has to be locked up. We have to be present in the hallways, reassuring parents, but our rooms are now, from now on, are going to be locked up at all times. So it'll be a lot harder to get in. Most doors are metal doors, so it'll be a lot harder for someone, even if they get access to the school, to get into rooms. It'd get teachers a lot more time to try and get children to safely out or hidden in even a more secure location.
What about the physical building? You were telling me earlier that we know the shooter shot his way through the glass and got into the building. You think some changes should be made to the physical building of a school?
Well, definitely. If we can pay for hurricane-proof windows, because there are no shutters down here, we can pay for bulletproof windows. If that was present at that school or any school, there just has to be money put in, and I know people don't want to put more money in, but these are our children. We've learned from a horrible tragedy that we need bulletproof windows.
That's a good idea. I never even thought of that.
I really feel that would have really stopped the situation right there. The person would never have been able to get access into the school.
Okay, now let's talk about armed security. What's your feeling on that?
I'm very pro armed security. Every teacher is, especially after Friday. And that's something we discuss the most. My daughter goes to a different charter school. She's kind of a science nut. So we put her there, and they were located close to a major highway. They felt it was safer to hire security and to spend some of the money towards that, which I had no problem with. We have 4 at her school in the morning, 4 security officers, 4 in the afternoon, and then 2 that stay all day long.
And what about your elementary school?
For the next week, we have a couple of local officers.
And that'll fade out.
And that'll be done when Christmas break.
So what do you think long term for every school in America? What do you think we should do for
We need
security?
it. We need armed security personnel. I need to be able to teach, and we need to be protected. This has happened multiple places since Obama's been in office. We've had 4 massacres, widespread. Not just a couple people. And these were babies. These are the same age as what I teach, and it was heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking to see this. And we need to be protected.
What about teachers having guns? Certain teachers in the school. What do you think about that?
I think just like I'm on one of the teams that helps with detaining someone who is having a fit, detaining them safely so they don't hurt anybody. If you volunteered for it, you go through extensive psychological testing to make sure that that person can handle that.
Okay, so explain that. So you have a special role besides teaching, and that is exactly what?
Yeah, well, I've done it in the past. I'm not doing it this year, but if there's a child who's throwing a major fit, hurting a teacher, hitting, throwing chairs, which happened in my class last year.
And then you were trained
To safely detain them.
Okay, so now...
Where it doesn't hurt the student, you're just basically binding the student,
And there's a technique to it.
Yeah, there's a technique. You don't want to harm the student, but you also have other children in the room that are getting harmed by flying debris, chairs being thrown. I had a student like that last year. And it's scary. It's scary for the children who see it.
All your students are kindergarten for the last 10
Yes.
years.
Mm-hmm.
What type of trauma are the teachers going through since the shooting?
A lot of us are afraid. We stay up late at night thinking of ways that we could get our children out safely. I've rolled 3 or 4 scenarios in my head. We have a fire window that's very easy to open and climb out, and it runs along the side of the building where they could run safely. I feel that if they're running away, they're harder. I hate to say this, but harder to shoot at than a stationary person. I mean, this is what we've been thinking. In my head, I'm thinking, well, if they're hiding in a closet, that's a place where someone could shoot at them. That's what I'm thinking as a teacher. Last week, I was thinking of making elves. So this week we stay up late at night.
And a lot of teachers are having problems processing this, correct?
We really are, because these babies were so young. I've cried so much. I mean, I think of my own babies. As soon as I found out, I looked at my kids. They were watching a little fun Santa movie. And I was thinking these children were getting ready for a holiday party. I have not cried so much. I mean, these are poor, defenseless babies that could not defend themselves. They don't know at 5. They have no idea how to protect themselves or get away.
So a few teachers in the school should be armed. You agree with that?
I agree. Yes, if they volunteer for it,
Yes.
definitely.
And they
As
get
long
trained.
as-
And they get
yeah,
trained
they get
for it.
trained for it.
Now let's talk about something else. You've dealt with challenged children. Evidently, and we're not psychiatrists or experts on this, but evidently this child had something called Asperger's. You're more familiar with it. Explain what you've dealt with
Yeah.
these types of children.
Yeah, it's just a light form of autism, and they have, just autistic children, they have a problem with expressing emotion and processing emotion.
Processing emotion.
And, I mean, they've said that from what I've heard, but I don't know if it's true or not, that he didn't feel physical and emotional pain. And for a mother to give him access to guns when that's so irresponsible. And as I told Tom earlier, if she was alive and hadn't been shot, she should be charged.
Yeah, you can't let a child have access to
No,
guns.
she should be charged
He
if
was
she gave
20.
access.
He wasn't a child.
No, but
he
still.
had an ailment.
And if he was tested or had gone through the system, gotten the help he needed, he probably would have been found not to be able, I forgot the name of it, but where you can't take care of yourself. Britney Spears had it.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But no one should have, a child
No.
or adult, I want to
No.
correct myself, no one should have access
No.
to the owner's guns.
Absolutely not.
Period,
No.
absolutely not.
No.
So,
And especially someone who has that kind of issue.
yeah, because they can't process feelings.
No, they're not
And we're not
processing
trying to say
things,
they're bad
no.
people. I know a lot of children with ailments, and they're huggable, young, beautiful people.
Yeah, and my
beautiful
daughter
human
has
beings.
severe ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and some of the drugs made her very angry.
Oh, the medications.
Yeah,
I
to
didn't-
help her. The medications
Explain
to help
that.
her. She just got really angry, especially when she was coming off of them.
I mean, I could never see your daughter being angry.
She was violent. She
Wow.
kicked when she was
From the medicine?
Yeah, when she was first starting, school, when she first started taking the meds, it took about 3 of them. But I was very proactive with it, and that's what parents with children with disabilities, when you brush it under the carpet, when you do anything you want to appease them, instead of diagnosing them and helping them and watching them and helping them become great, this is what can happen. I mean, you're trying to give them this, oh, here, Johnny, behave and you'll get a candy cane. And no, I mean, even the drugs to help my daughter. It took a while to find one that didn't make her, she even kicked the principal, her pre-K year. And, we're lucky to find one that worked finally.
So, one last thing on this is, you're not really into guns, you don't have a gun.
No.
This does look scary, maybe to a lot of people. Okay, this is what we call, some people call it an AK-47. Do you think guns should be banned, or gun laws, she doesn't know, I'm not prepping her for this, should be banned or changed, or gun laws because of the shooting?
My problem with if they are banned or regulated, then that way people just like drugs are going to get them illegally, and then there's no way to know who has what. There's no way, to identify things to people. If you start banning them, then they're going to get them illegally anyways. And
Yeah,
use
like
them.
drugs, yeah.
Yeah, they're going to get them anyways, and then this way we have no record of who has
I
what.
mean, it's against the law to murder people, and look what happened in the movie theater.
Yeah.
Right? People were murdered.
Yeah, I mean,
people get murdered all the time, and it's illegal. Laws don't stop
no,
people.
it's not going to stop people from getting guns. There's so many guns out there. There's not going to really be a change now.
So you agree that gun laws should stay the way they are?
Yeah.
And just people need to be responsible.
I would just say that, and maybe like mental health check on if we on individuals before. maybe they, get some, but other than that, no, I think everything should stay the same, so at least we know who has it when they're doing
Yeah, you probably don't realize this, but there was a so-called assault weapons ban from '94 to '04, and you do know about Columbine shooting. That happened that 5 years into the banning of guns like one I just showed you. So the bans, they don't work.
They didn't help, yeah.
They don't help.
I mean,
And
in England, they're all banned, but people are still shot.
now, if there's a natural disaster, and because I'm pretty well armed,
Yes.
where are you going to go?
Tom's house. Even if we don't have a car working,
Like an EMP
will-
strike?
we will take a hike over. We know how to get there.
Because these types of guns will help us
Exactly.
in chaos.
I will learn how to use one.
But you agree that a gun like this would help in that situation
Of
from
course.
home invasions.
And things aren't getting better, so.
Things aren't getting better, so we need these types of guns. All right, I just wanted to give you a teacher's perspective, and my
And
daughters,
thank your teacher.
and thank your teacher.
Because we would lay down our life for any child. We're
Nice.
with them all day
They-
in and out. We
and-
definitely would. We would do it with those teachers in a heartbeat.
It's really,
And that's what's really heartbreaking.
you're an amazing person.
Thank you.
Thank you. Check it out. Bye-bye.